Hey everyone, Rob from Southgate Media Group here. Before we get started with this podcast, we have a quick message. If this is your first time checking out the show, we love that you found us and we really hope you enjoy it. What we have to say is for the subscribers. If you enjoy our shows, would you please donate to help keep these going? We don't want to have to put traditional ads on these shows, but this does cost money. So we really do rely heavily on donations. To make a donation to the show, please go to our website, www.southgatemediagroup.com. Go to the page for the show, and in the upper right-hand corner is a donate button. It takes you right to PayPal, and you can donate whatever amount you want. Thanks a lot for listening, everybody. And now on with the show. Welcome to the Nuff Said podcast. Tonight we're talking Agent Carter, Season 1, Episode, what is this, 5?
Sure.
Okay. The Iron Ceiling. That's what really matters. Who knows what number it is? Okay, let's jump into this thing. I am one of your hosts. I'm Rob Southgate. With me,
Jack Wengroski.
And
Alil Knitsa. No names tonight?
You want to do names? We can do names. We'll just go
Sure.
back in time. Shoop, 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 shoop. Like that. I am Squatty Potty Southgate. With me is...
Jaded Jack Wengroski.
And I'm ailing Alil.
Ailing a lil. All right. Why are you ailing a lil?
My whole house has been sick all week, and I have no satellite dish. It's not working.
Bum,
So-
bum.
So to be as dedicated as I am to the Nuff Said universe,
Yes.
I signed up for Hulu, and I had to watch
Yes.
Agent
Yeah.
Carter. 'Cause I was freaking out. I couldn't get Agent Carter.
And you know what? After watching this episode, I would say that was money well spent, even though you got a free month.
Exactly. Yeah, I can still cancel. So
Sorry,
Now
Hulu.
now that you've gotten everything you need out of it, you could just toss it aside like you would do me or Rob, right?
of course, come
that
on.
got a little weird. I have
Where's this
so
going?
many shows on Hulu I can recommend to you. Martha and I watch a lot of Hulu.
So what would be like your top 3?
Top 3. Moon Boy, The Wrong Men's. Lil, you're going to love The Wrong Men's. And probably Pram Face. Even though I don't love Pram Face, some of it is really fantastic. But Moon Boy is excellent, and Wrong Man's is excellent.
Well, good choice. I don't know what the third one was. Have no idea, but the first two were very excellent choices.
All right.
So
put those in the bank there, Lil. I expect to hear that you talk about that on League of Geeks. Yeah,
Not this week.
This week I watched this. Papa, I'm a Lil. That's my impression.
Wow.
wow, you've captured League of Geeks, the whole gist of it in about 3 seconds.
Man,
that was amazing.
That's some fighting words there.
Yeah. Why? You know what? I was going to say I don't see you this weekend, but I do in Madison. What happens in Madison stays in Madison. Let me just put it that way, Lil. I'm bringing the whizzer.
I was going to say I'm very scared now. What is happening in Wisconsin this weekend?
A lot is happening. Let's talk about it for a second. First of all, Friday night we've been asked to do a panel at Wizard World Madison, and this is their inaugural Wizard World there, so it's going to be fun. Jack, you're not invited. No, Jack's not here, so Jack's not going to make it. But Alil is going to be on the panel.
Okay.
The panel we're doing is Geek My Kids, talking about building the perfect geek, which we both have different approaches to. Alil's is showing the kids Alien. Mine is inundating them with comic books.
Hey,
And
I
we'll be
think I've
discussing
done
that.
well. And let me explain this really quick because something happened tonight because of Hulu
Because of Hulu.
that made me a proud father.
Oh, all right.
So we were flipping through, checking out Hulu, and they have all these trailers up. And
Right.
my kids have seen Jurassic Park. And yes, they're the twins just turned 4, and they have seen Jurassic Park.
Very good. Good for you.
And so I was like, oh, the Jurassic World trailer. I put it on, and my oldest is like, hey, that's Peter Quill. She didn't call him Star-Lord. She called him Peter Quill.
Nice.
Well done, Alil.
And I was just like, a tear came down.
Did you
All
go
of a sudden,
parenting? You
music
win.
was coming on in the background, and it was like, I must be the greatest father in the world.
Yeah,
you
but
know?
the song that came on was Cats in the Cradle, which is all about how you fail as a father. It's the worst. So You might want to pay more attention to the song being played.
Oh man, but no, yeah, you're right. I mean, Geek My Kid is a lot of fun. You're right. We and I think my mom did it to me, so I kind of have.
All right, this is a family show, Lil.
Hey, geek me out. Geek me out.
You know what?
Same to my kids.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. So we're going to do that. And then the other thing is, after that, this is actually the more important thing for those of you that live in that area or that are going to be up there for the con. At Michelangelo's Coffee House in Madison, we've been asked to do a live podcast. So we are going to be doing two of the most popular things we do at Live at the Blue Box, which is also a place we do live podcasts. Friday night, this Friday night. What's the date on it? The 13th, I think?
The 6th.
I was so wrong. The 6th of February, we are going to be at Michelangelo's Coffee House in Madison, 8 o'clock to 10 o'clock. We are doing This Week in Geek, and we are doing Geektastic Cage Match. Alil is there. Martha is there. Blair is going to be there from Monroe's Comfy Sweater and The Strain and 12 Monkeys. It's going to be a lot of fun. So if you can make it, send me a tweet so that I know. Send it to @rsouthgate or send it to @SMGpods and just say, hey, we're coming, or hey, we're interested. It only holds 30 people. And with the amount of people that we have just from our group, that's like almost 10 already taken up. So not a lot of spaces. How was that for a plug?
Yeah, it was pretty good.
Wonderful plug.
A wonderful plug. That's one.
That's my favorite Christmas tune.
Wonderful plug.
Wonderful plug.
Well, you were a peg boy on a ship for a while, so. Now, there's an obscure reference that could get us in trouble. Thank you.
Wow.
Yep. All right, can we talk about Agent Carter?
Yeah, isn't that what the show is about?
I think so. So, what did you guys think?
Jack, I'll let you start.
All right. Well, I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a great way to come back after having a double show and then kind of a filler show and then a 1 week break. I really was starting to lose my resolve or expect.
Last week was a really good episode.
Well,
don't you remember? There was the break, but then last week was really good.
It was, but I'm talking about kind of as in the whole, and I thought that it really continued that. And I really did enjoy it. I thought they continued the storyline. I think they continued to toughen Agent Carter up even more.
Yeah, she was great.
Her character really developed. They were still playing the woman thing, but the whole episode, was more about her winning and earning her place. The only thing was, I was a little disappointed in the rebuff of Jarvis. Jarvis is doing his gig. He's kind of stuck between a real stubborn Peggy and, the crazy Howard. And I get the fact that not everything can be about that duo.
Right.
But, it was, I guess, hopefully it's just a nice little break and, that they kind of get that dynamic back. Because, I do enjoy the Jarvis inclusion, but having the Howling Commandos, that was awesome. Oh, I thought they did a really good job with that.
Yeah, I'm totally with you on that. I love that. Lo, what'd you think?
I loved it, and I loved the beginning. The beginning threw me completely off with them going into basically the Black Widow backstory or what do they call it? The Black Widow cult? What are we calling this thing?
I don't know. It's a Black Widow program is what it is.
Program. Thank you. I was like cult. I don't know why cult came in my head. But
it was very much like a cult. The way they were mind control and they had them shackled to the beds. It was very cultish.
We get that back at the end, but I mean the thing that got me was like you see the girls there and you're assuming one's Dottie.
Right.
And, she shares her piece of bread, with her cross bunkmate, and they seem to be friends. And then you see them fighting in the yard, and she just snaps her neck, man.
Yeah, I was going to say.
I was like, oh, my God.
I couldn't believe that.
Well, when they talk about the real Russian spy network from the Cold War, they had these whole cities that were set up with American culture, so much to the fact that some of them that went to the United States now, their children have no idea that their parents were ever part of these programs. And when those programs died, the Russian agents that are still kind of in place in the US just kind of, okay, well, we're here. Nobody's following us. And I think it was maybe 10 years ago, they started following up on some of the intel and deported this couple that had been in the United States for 30 years. They really hadn't spied on anybody, but I thought that
Are you
Disney
watching The Americans?
I was just going to say this. If you're watching The Americans, that's exactly what's going on.
But
Spoiler, that's what's going on.
But that's exactly what happened in real life. And you know that thing where they're watching the Disney movie was awesome because it was that whole like the brainwashing and the Americanization whilst kind of instilling the whole Russian thing. And on top of that, you know, you've got the whole Black Widow program. I thought, how great was that? It was like the
I loved
perfect. It was the perfect mix of reality and MCU. I was freaking out.
Yeah, it was okay. So I was totally thinking Americans when that was going on. So a little good call on that. That whole segment to me was it was what I was expecting. We were going to start getting some of that in Age of Ultron. The fact that they showed it some here, they're not going to go back and show us that much of it, but it was laying great groundwork. Watching Black Widow now, this is what I'm going to think about. I'm going to think about her being shackled to the bed, having to fight to the death as a kid. Another thing that I was really loving when they were watching the cartoons, when they were watching Snow White. Later on, we saw that they were doing the mind control thing, but I wasn't even thinking that at that point. When they were showing the Disney movie, I have a brother-in-law who is from Taiwan, and he said that the way he learned English was watching Disney movies.
Yeah, I
and
thought
it just reminded me of that. I
So
thought, they're teaching him English this way.
So does he sound like Grumpy?
No, he sounds like Donald. It's very weird.
I can't believe we have to go to Rob's house for dinner. Oh,
It sounds more like Eeyore.
Eeyore?
That's-
I'll do my Tigger now.
Yeah. Not much of an impression from not much of a Jack.
Oh,
There was an Eeyore joke. It wasn't funny, but it was an Eeyore joke. Are Eeyore jokes ever funny? Really?
I don't think so. I think it's just a vibe.
And that was a good Tigger. I want to give you some props there.
Thank you.
If anyone could see on the on Skype here, he is actually bouncing on a big rubber tail right now. It's very weird. That's a tail, right, Alil?
Baby.
Just say yes,
Let's say yes.
please. We need to keep our rating.
So,
right,
what else?
So,
No,
Are we
but I
guys talking
agree.
about this episode yet?
I agree with you there with the Snow White because that's what I initially thought, and then when Peggy saw it in the cartoon, I really that really got me. Then I was like, oh, that's awesome that they were putting in the subliminal messages in the cartoons.
Yeah, and you know what else
I just thought it was
reminded me
just to learn like the proper diction that Americans would have because they kept repeating
Well,
it.
and the way they were repeating it back and getting the phrasing down and everything. But then when they had the subliminal messages, it also reminded me of this is an obscure one, but in the Bee Gees Sgt. Pepper's movie. Did you ever see that one?
oh God,
No.
Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band, where George Burns is in it and the Bee Gees are in it. There's a scene, actually, for me, the best part of the movie. The reason I actually like the movie is Alice Cooper is in it and he runs a cult. And he's showing these videos and it's got these subliminal messages. Believe, listen to me, my control, like all this stuff going on in the background. And I totally thought of that when it showed that.
wow.
Yeah, Alice
that is
Cooper
an
references.
obscure Alice Cooper reference.
Yeah. Did you guys ever see that movie?
Yes, it's been a long time.
I don't remember. Yeah, I don't. I might have.
I saw it in the theater.
No way.
How awful. Yeah, when it came out. Because I was a Beatles fan and I was like, oh, cool. I was a kid. I'm like, oh, cool, Beatles. And then I go and I sit like, that's the Bee Gees. Aw.
Probably why.
There's George Burns. And he's singing. Aw.
So we were talking about Dottie, whether or not she was going to be working in the background, maybe an ally. So did anybody get like the heebie-jeebies when she sits at the mirror and
yeah.
she starts saying,
Oh,
like grabbing her stuff and going, "I'm Peggy Carter."
oh yeah.
And then
she's not going to be an ally, Jack.
I
no.
just got the heebie-jeebies at your Peggy Carter.
Yeah.
And so, as if it doesn't get worse, she steals a photograph of one of the Stark weapons, goes back to her room, and it's like time for bed. And so that she can go to sleep. Now, this is a grown woman. She puts one of the shackles on because it's time for bed. And it was like, okay, that's it. I'm freaked. I am completely freaked out.
She put the shackle on.
Oh, it was like, oh, wow. This is like brainwashed completely. This, Dottie is going to flip on somebody.
Yeah. When she put that shackle on, I was like, oh, yeah, this show is going for everything here.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I didn't see that coming. Did you guys?
No.
No, I didn't.
You figured that, they would kind of get over that, but it really tells you, no, they're not. The Black Widow is going to be a crazy fanatical group that you just don't know when one is just going to come up and kill you. How many of the Howling Commandos got stabbed by that little girl?
Oh, man. Well, too. When she stabbed Dum Dum Dugan, I'm like, for a moment, I thought, wait, is this how he dies? Of course it's not, right? But for a moment, I thought because of the way they're doing this show, I mean, they're not afraid to kill people. And I was like, whoa, are they going to actually take him out this way?
Yeah, I think they kind of with the new with those new like chainmail vests that they had.
Yeah,
I think that was a little precursor, a little like I guess we should have picked up on that a little more, but it was like, oh yeah, they've got the vests. We just didn't see.
Well, yeah, but they showed Peggy putting it on. We didn't know that Dum Dum Dugan and those guys would have them on.
No, and it was a big surprise. I thought it was going to be like where it's like, oh, that didn't hurt, and he was going to do like a Rocky kind of cauterization thing, and he just like sits back up. Yeah, I got most of it. I'm cool. I was like, shoo.
Yeah,
relief.
No, man,
yeah,
she freaked me out, man. I mean, that little girl. I mean, it was just she was crawling through the walls and popping out at the back there, grabbing the gun, just shooting everybody. I thought
I have a question about her. Go ahead, Lil.
No, go ahead. Say? She's not Natasha. There's no way.
Oh no.
Okay.
She's not the right age because this is like in the 40s. Natasha would have been a kid like that in the 70s.
Right. Probably.
So no way. This is just some Black Widow kid. But what was it? What happened when she popped out of the wall with the gun at the end when they were shooting at the Russians? She shot at the Russians, right? She shot that Russian in the leg. Why did she shoot the Russian in the leg? I thought she
shot the commando in the leg.
Ooh, no, she didn't. She shot the Russian.
No.
She shot what's his face? The black guy. Why am I drawing a blank on his name? Because he's not the one from Captain America. He's new.
Why do the black guys all have to get shot?
But he didn't die. The other guy.
No. Right.
No, he got.
I don't think that was it. It was a Russian that she shot.
No. She
shot him in the leg because he was limping when that doctor pulled the gun on him.
No. That was from fire from the guards at the prison when they were firing. He was that was crossfire.
Right, and when she popped out, that was after that scene when they pulled the gun on him.
Well,
so he was limping because of other things, but no, she popped out during the gunfight that happened after that. When everything was going crazy, all of a sudden she popped out, and it looked like she shot one of the Russian guys. And I was like, "Wait a minute, she just took out a Russian." Why did she do that?
What do you mean, one of the Russian guys? Like the two that were with her?
The Russian soldiers.
Well, they were shooting at them.
One of the Russian soldiers.
All I saw,
the girl popped out of the wall.
Yeah.
So why would she shoot at the Russian soldiers? Here's the deal. You had the two guys that they had helped escape, right?
Right.
And they were with them, and they were shooting at the Russian soldiers that were pouring in there, right?
Correct. Which were Russian.
And then the one guy pulled a gun on the black guy, and the other guy shot him.
Right. The other Russian shot him.
Right. After he shot him, when there was all the gunfire, the
Right.
girl came out through a hole,
Right.
pulled up a gun, and looked like she shot one of the Russian soldiers in the leg. You guys are telling me it wasn't a Russian soldier? I swear it was.
I don't remember that at all.
Yeah, I didn't think it was either. God, I don't know.
Okay, well, that's going to be one we're just going to have to go back and look at. I'm not going to pause things and go, time travel and go figure it out. So it just seemed to me that was something that when I saw it, I took note and went, that is a Russian soldier. Why is she doing that?
I don't know.
So maybe I'm wrong. I'll go
I
with that. But
it was a lot of
I
crossfire.
think when we go back and watch it, I think when you go back and watch it, I mean, either I'm completely wrong or you're going to go, oh, I see what he's talking about. It was very strange to me. It stood out. If she had shot one of the Howling Commandos, it wouldn't have seemed weird to me. It would have seemed like it made sense.
Well, maybe
all I could think was she was trying to escape the Russians too. Because why was she sitting in that room alone crying or pretending to cry?
Well, I think that whole operation, they were brought there on purpose because they knew this was a setup. I think that whole thing was and somehow to bring more discredit to Howard Stark. And they get there, and I mean, they really didn't kind of really answer any of the question why they were sent there, but it was definitely a setup. We knew it was a setup. The bad guys, whoever they are, know that this team is coming, even if they don't know it's the Howling Commandos. They definitely know it's the FBI group from Peggy's office because they didn't send the.
No, I'm watching it right now. It was the girl. She shot the black guy.
Oh, she shot the black guy in the leg.
In the leg,
yep.
Yep. Because she came through the fence.
She didn't shoot the deputy, right?
I shot the sheriff reference.
Oh my god!
Yes,
How old are you guys?
I killed the conversation with a terrible joke.
A terrible 70s joke.
All right, so
that's the worst part.
I'm bringing it all back around.
Okay, so now we're set up for this thing where our Navy Cross winner, Thompson, completely freezes in the midst of combat, and Peggy has to go save him. So what'd you guys think about that?
I thought it was a weak backstory.
Yeah, but at the same time, I'm going to say I thought it was a bit of a plot device, but at the same time, I think that it's going to help them move away from this pure sexism storyline that they have.
Right now that she's earning her place.
Yes. But not fully. I mean, he invited her for bourbon, but he did not. She is not one of the guys. It brings up another thing, and I think I mentioned this on the last show or a couple of shows ago. But to me, tonight, it got even stronger. Remember when we were talking about the short and how Bradley Whitford is the guy in charge? I really think what we saw the guy in charge doing tonight, we saw him, all of a sudden, he's starting to question things. He's finding out that Howard Stark isn't the guy. And he's like, starting to branch off on his own a little bit. I have a feeling something's going to happen. He's going to get killed or something, and that's how Bradley Whitford becomes the director there, which leads to the scene where they push her further down, and then she becomes head of S.H.I.E.L.D. I really think that that's what they're doing. As I was watching it, I kept thinking, they're not throwing away the short. It's tied in here. And what's going to happen to this guy is going to end badly.
I don't know, because at the beginning of the short, it seemed like she still had no credibility at all. And it looks like here she has earned some of that.
But it also wasn't the same guys.
That's true.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to tie Thompson into that.
But it wasn't the same guys. Maybe by the end of the season, a bunch of guys die. Maybe a bunch die or a bunch leave or whatever. Maybe because of everything that goes on, everything changes. She's left there because she's not giving up, but now it's a new bunch of guys she has to deal with this crap with.
Yeah, I get it.
And that's how it leads into that. I didn't say it's the strongest choice. I'm saying I think that
I don't know.
Because I don't think that they're using him as the Bradley Whitford character. Maybe Bradley Whitford shot the Russian guy.
I see where you're going. I see where you're going with it, and I could agree. But I really think that the chief, as he is, really fits that role better than Thompson would. And Thompson is just kind of like the epitome of one of the guy grunts. He's going to be your lead, guy that's going out into the field. And I really think that I really think that he's going to be the one that kind of stays in charge. He's really represents that old school, whereas Thompson's now kind of opening up to Peggy a little bit. He told his like super secret story that, the incoming Japanese enemy that he killed was actually trying to surrender. He just didn't notice in the dark.
Right.
And so he's really right now, he's kind of almost crossed into ally territory, whereas the chief begrudgingly, okay, she did a great job. He didn't really see it. So I don't know. I mean, I could see where they may, shake things up.
I'm with you.
Yeah. And I'm sorry. I want to go back, but go ahead and finish that thought.
Oh no, I could see where they shake things up. They put Thompson in the lead, and it gives that kind of friend but sexist kind of undertow. But I really think I think that chief is here to stay. That's my take.
Okay.
You know what I was thinking.
What were you gonna say, Lil?
I know we know that that Arnim Zola, tested on Bucky when he was captured in First Avenger, and we assume that that's why he was able to survive and able to go through the procedures. What flashed in my head, and I don't, it might not be a one-off thing, but I was shocked that Dottie did not find the Captain America blood.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I thought. She was there to go get it. And then it was going to be like Howard telling her.
Well, I think she was.
Oh, she just didn't find it. She didn't know what to look for.
And I was.
Yeah, I think she was.
I have never been like this with a TV show, but the whole time, like you said, creepy. The whole time she was in that room, I was like on edge. Like, don't find it. Don't move that painting, which I think anybody would. I don't know why. I've never been like that. And I'm watching her like creep through, like lift up the bed and go through the drawers, and I'm like, let me freeze. Never mind. I was going to freeze frame on some of those scenes, but I was just sitting there. And I'm like, oh my god, if she finds this blood, this is how they're going to connect it to Winter Soldier, because the comics, it's the Russians that do all this to him, and I thought that would be like a huge connection.
I think in the movie they alluded to that too.
Oh yeah, so maybe they alluded to it, but everybody is still Hydra
because Black Widow had run-ins with him.
But that would be the total justification where Agent Carter can't be that mad at him, because it's going to say this is exactly why. Sticking it in a wall somewhere and not keeping a hold of that blood. This is why I needed to do that. And you just gave up the Cap's blood to the Russians, and she's got to eat some crow because right now she's the one all high and mighty. Like, I've got to keep this from everybody. Yet she's the one that's going to enable the Russians to get it. And I don't think this is done. I think Alil made a great point. This will be an eventual tie-in. And
do we need to have some kind of something to mark that occasion? Lil had a great point.
Oh wow! All right,
wow, that's kind of hard.
I mean, when one of the three of us gets a great point, I think we should celebrate.
Here's the popping of the champagne.
No, I didn't say it about all three of us.
I just think it's funny how you single out Lil.
Well, because you said it, or you said he had a great point. I had to go for it.
Nice teamwork.
He set it up and took it down.
Right.
Yep.
That's right.
Yeah, I'm not getting hired by Alil.
That's
I know
true. That. Yeah, what not to do on an interview.
So what was Alil's great point? I'm sorry about that.
To reiterate, I get to use a really big word. To reiterate my point. Did you like that? Reiterate. That's like 4 syllables. Yes, that's twice.
Do we need to have something to mark the occasion? Jack used a big
I think
word.
So. That's like twice the normal syllable count. So anyway, Alil was talking about Dottie was going to come in and find the blood and being on edge. I think she is going to eventually get it in, on down the line, and she's going to have to come crawling back to Howard about, how wrong she was, because she's the one that's really kind of judging Jarvis and Howard and how all these people are bad. Yet if Howard had a hold of it, this would not happen. And I think that's really setting up the storyline. It's my opinion, and I'm sticking with it. So good job, Alil.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, I think it's solid on both of your parts.
And now, the more we talk about,
yeah, a little
solid.
good job.
Never mind, I'm not going there.
God, I was gonna say it and I didn't.
Yep.
Sometimes you just don't have to.
And I'm wondering now. We thought,
what is wrong with us tonight?
Yeah, you should have heard the pre-show.
Yeah. Okay, I'm trying to move us forward.
We're all aggressive with each other, and I know what is wrong with us, and we keep pausing, because I can tell all of us want to say something. And we're like, no, don't say that.
I'm tearing up here.
I'm laughing like a schoolgirl,
and it's crazy because now I'm thinking. Well, you do have a skirt for it.
Not yet. You have to donate the $1,000.
I was going to say we're going to get that review
you
on
keep
iTunes.
Saying that, but where's the $1,000? If you don't donate the $1,000 to the SMG website, you can't go there. You donate.
No skirt from Jack.
That's right.
You.
I'm not that kind of girl.
No, you're clearly not.
And you know what? Actually, for $2,000, he won't put the skirt on.
So. That's a whole new campaign.
Although that might, I think we'll avoid that.
That could backfire, though.
All right, Alil, what was your great point you were going to make?
Okay,
Before we got sidetracked on Jack.
I think we all assume that this story here was to vindicate Howard Stark. For the first few episodes. Now, my thought is that has shifted. That was a way to lead into the real story here, and it's going to be about Captain America's blood. And that's how this is going to end.
And that'll tie in to the Winter Soldier.
Right, and tie into Age of Ultron and all that kind of stuff. Because this is still stuff that they're working on. And who knows, maybe Hydra still has some of this blood.
Well, this was the first time actually watching.
And maybe that's what they use for Crossbones.
Oh, I bet you're right. Okay, so watching this, it's funny you brought up Armin Zola. It's funny you're bringing this up this way. I hadn't thought of the Crossbones thing, but as I was watching this, I was for the first time thinking about Armin Zola and the Winter Soldier and how that tied in here. Something about this episode, and it was the whole seeing that school, seeing the Black Widows, seeing how Dottie reacted. I started kind of thinking about all that. And what was, and this might just be something I wasn't paying attention, what was the picture of that Dottie had? There was a picture in there when she was looking through those pictures.
That you took?
Yeah. One of the pictures reminded me.
It was one of the weapons that. Remember when she took pictures on the pen?
Yes,
the pen camera.
That's what it was.
The SSR had. It was one of those things, and I couldn't recall which one she grabbed.
Yeah, they didn't make it quite clear. It didn't seem. I remember watching it, and I was trying to kind of get a glimpse, and I'd see it again, but I don't recall that. It was about 2 or 3 down, so you could probably figure it out.
Well, it
from
also
the
might
first
be
when she's looking through.
Yeah, it might be that we don't even really need to know what it was, just that she has the pictures, that she has the proof of what's going on. But there was something in those pictures that reminded me of Armin Zola, and that's why I started thinking about that. And I was thinking about the Winter Soldier, but now that you've said Crossbones and tying it into Captain America's blood, this is getting really interesting. I hadn't realized that. The other thing is, I really think that the show did take a turn. I think tonight, it was last episode when Dottie was revealed. I think this show became a lot more about conspiracy than it was straight up, the Agent Carter show we thought we were watching. And I think that's good. I mean, I've enjoyed everything
conspiracy
so far.
In what way?
Well, there is so much happening that we're not aware of and that Peggy isn't aware of, that I think this show is about things that we're not aware about yet. And I think even by the end of the season, we're going to leave it going, wait a minute, they never resolved this. And this is still out there. And there's going to be a lot there, which is exciting. I think it leads into a second season very well. I mean, here we are. What is it? 5 episodes in. We've only got 3 episodes to resolve some of this stuff. And the stuff that we were getting given tonight is way too big to resolve in the next 3 episodes. Let alone Leviathan that came up again. And they talked about Leviathan, but we know from reading about it in the Marvel Universe wiki that Leviathan is something that they're still confused by. It's not something that's out in the open like Hydra is. And tonight, they even made a reference to Leviathan like, well, that's not real. And it's like, well, yeah, it is. So I think that this show is
Right, that's a
becoming
good
more
point.
about the conspiracies going on around Peggy. Peggy, is going to be solving these things, and she's being who Peggy Carter is. And it's going to lead to her being the director of S.H.I.E.L.D. Because obviously this group is not big enough or not the right group to handle Leviathan and Hydra and AIM and everyone else that's coming out of the woodwork.
Right.
Did you
I'm
see
thinking
that guy
that Leviathan and Hydra are the same.
Did you see that? I don't think so. Did you see that weird guy on the internet that is trying to make himself look like the Red Skull? What is up with that guy? He cut off his nose.
Yes.
Don't look at these pictures. They're awful.
Oh, for
realsies. Yeah. Yeah, Jack.
wow.
He cut off his nose and he had
Did he cut
facial
off his nose
implants.
to spite his face?
Yes. No, it actually said he did it to spite your face. He has a real grudge
Sorry,
against
that's
you,
nothing.
But yeah, and he's tattooing his face
I'm
red, and it's weird, man.
I'm gonna have to get my like Thundercat outfit out and my sword
I bet
of
you have a snarf.
honor or
I see
whatever
you
it
with
was.
snarf, Jack.
I do have a snarf. I have a Pomeranian. I have a Pomeranian that when I give the right command, she turns into a snarf. It's awesome.
Wow.
What
are we talking
that
about?
picture that Dottie took?
Yes.
I'm going back to the
Lil's
show.
trying. Let him go there. Let's just let him go there.
That picture that Dottie took was one of a box with the Stark logo on it.
Yeah.
And it's not letting me pause on it to read what it says, but it's
was that the box that they opened that she opened to get the Doomsday button, which had actually the blood?
Oh, you know what? I think you're right.
I think you're right.
I think I am right.
Wait,
you are always.
We need to mark this occasion. Jack was right. We've had. I'm the only one who hasn't been right tonight. I can't believe it. We've had 2 rights.
Yeah, we're gonna.
That's okay.
Yeah,
That'll
we're not gonna mark
wrong.
that as an occasion.
That'll make her wrong. Here we go.
Yeah, so it's a picture of a crate. I cannot read the label on it. It just has the Stark logo and a number. But I think you're right. I think it is that one that had the Cap blood in it, and that ball, wherever they were calling it, was it Berserker?
Yeah, I don't remember.
Don't remember.
I don't remember.
Well,
there we go. Whatever. We're back to being wrong.
There we go.
Folks, just
now the show's rolling back on all fours.
That's right. That's right, folks. All you gotta do is wait it out about 30 seconds or so from a high, and we'll be right back to the way we normally are.
We're back on all 3 cylinders.
Right. Yeah, I think we should talk about Spider-Man and really go off the rails. How about the new universe? Have we talked about that on this show?
We should.
So
we should.
Blitzkrieg button. That's what it was called.
That's what it is. You know what would have been even better if it was the actual name of the episode. That would have been hilarious. Like, what's the name of that? Oh yeah, Blitzkrieg button. Yeah, that's it.
There we go. So what about Sousa figuring out that Carter was actually on the scene? Where they took pictures of her from the back, and you only see the blonde wig. And Sousa's been holding on. He's been I got to figure out the back of these pictures. And when Thompson sends Sousa in the locker room, say, "Hey, can you get out from that other locker where Peggy's changing?" And he sees the bullet entry wounds on her shoulder, and he goes, "Oh my God." And he runs back to the picture, and there's the 2 spots from that. So he knows, and of course, this is set up into next week where now they're accusing Peggy of being a traitor. And so the focus on this next episode is going to be Peggy having to prove that she's not a traitor. Of course, they've threatened that with Stark, her, and Jarvis now. So
right.
I didn't get to see the previews for next week. Hulu did not have them. Damn you, Hulu!
I know that's the only weakness. That's the only weakness with Hulu.
Well, that and you got commercials, but
yes.
But I have to say,
true.
But
that previews next week is going to be a monster of an episode. I think so anyway.
Oh yeah, it looks crazy good.
And I think that everything that, like, a lot of shows when they show you the previews, like, you ever watch Mad Men? Every time they show the previews, they have nothing to do with the show. And that happens a lot on shows. Mad Men is the best example because it really has nothing to do with the show. Just a bunch of random moments. This, so far, every time they've shown a preview,
Like the trailer to Godzilla.
exactly what you think is going to happen happens. And it's awesome. And if that's the case going into this next week, it's going to be awesome. Did you just throw Godzilla under the bus?
I did. That was a terrible movie. No, the new Godzilla.
Godzilla?
Yeah.
Yeah, the new Godzilla. You know what? They should have spent the money to have Bryan Cranston on the entire time because he was the movie. The guy from Kick-Ass was not the movie.
No. That's my fear for Ultron.
Yeah, because he's Quicksilver and he was terrible in Godzilla.
Yep.
I'm hoping that he's got the Kick-Ass mojo that he had because he was great in that.
Yep.
So we'll see. We will see. Did you guys see the Daredevil?
I did, and I saw the Daredevil trailer. I'm actually really excited for it. It looks like something.
Oh, you know I am. I'm freaking out over it.
It looks like something that I was expecting, but I didn't think I was going to get.
Yeah. Did you see it, Jack?
I have to be honest.
I didn't see it.
Well, I saw it in like fast forward mode because I was fast forwarding through the commercials, and since the last Daredevil effort happened, I saw it, and I'm like, I'm not rewinding to see that. There's no way. And now I wish I had because.
Oh, Jack, it's nothing like the Affleck.
I prejudged it, and I just went on my merry way and kept fast forwarding.
Now, we've been doing this show for a year and a half. I have talked about this Daredevil series for so long. I'm so excited. How did you assume it was going to be like that Affleck thing?
It's like if you don't like bananas or peanut butter, it's not like, oh, we've got a new bananas and peanut butter that's going to be even better. And your gut instinct is just going to go, meh. Maybe.
Yeah.
So
okay.
I'm just going to go with low expectations. And then when I do go to see it, I'm going to be like, that was amazing. And you guys are going to be like, nah, it's kind of what I expected. But I'm going to be the one.
No, we're not.
I'm going to be the one going, man, that was nothing like I thought it was. It rocked.
Yeah, it's going to rock. I don't think we're going to go, meh. I think we're going to go, I need time alone. I'm telling you, that preview, I was dying. I watched it like 5 times in a row. Just was like, oh my gosh. How am I going to get through? There's 12 episodes. I mean, that's 12 hours.
That's a lot of alone time.
But it's 12 hours. I can't find 12 hours of TV time in a day, and I'm going to have to. I don't have a choice. I mean, oh my gosh. Now he had on that outfit. Did I hear that he is going to have the red outfit by the end of the series?
I didn't hear it.
I didn't hear it officially, but I think the assumption is it's not going to be the entire red outfit. It's going to be the red and black outfit that he's been wearing.
Yes. I would love it if he had the yellow outfit at some point too.
That I'd want to see that. That would be great.
That would be cool.
Oh, I love that.
Even like a little nod to it, like you see a scene where he goes through his closet and he's like, blindly moving through stuff, and you see that outfit sitting there. I think that'd be kind of cool.
So he's going to be like getting ready, and he's going to be like, honey, should I wear the red or the yellow?
No, happy. Should I see? You got to do the.
Oh, that's right.
Thing. No, actually, I think what's going to happen is he's going to put it on. He's going to walk outside, and he's going to go red, and Happy's going to go, you're blind, dude. That's yellow. Oh crap!
That would be funny, actually.
Because he walks out and is like, "Yeah, showboating." Yeah, good thing I'm not working on this show.
No, it's great that you're not.
When we do Spider-Man 78 or 68 or whatever we're doing, he'll be in the yellow outfit.
Of
guaranteed.
course, he's got to be.
So can we get back to Dum Dum Dugan for a second?
Oh yeah, he was great.
He was awesome,
one.
And so I did a little Marvel wiki, and I had no idea that Dum Dum Dugan dies in 1966. And Nick Fury can't do it without him. He's like one of his closest friends. So ever since then, he's replaced Dugan with life model decoys because Nick doesn't want to do the fight without him. and I had no
Oh,
idea.
I didn't know
Yeah, that's
that.
like kind of super creepy.
Did you know that?
Um,
Lil?
it sounds familiar. I can't recall where I read that or where I thought of that, but I knew that Dum Dum was also from that era and also had played a role like in this era.
Right. Well, I guess it kind of gives you that. Okay, well, is he a forever kind of like the captain? And he really hasn't gone through any of that. So this gives you that. Uh,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's interesting.
So yeah,
You know what it reminds me of? I went to University of Phoenix, and the guy who started University of Phoenix, he is one of these guys who loved his dog so much he had his dog cloned, and he actually paid a
Cloned?
fortune. Has a cloned version of his dog, so it's the same kind of thing. He's got like this life model decoy of his dog, and it looks like Patton Oswalt. That's what's really weird.
that's awesome. I want
to clone
Like,
Patton
I
Oswalt.
want one of those.
I want a dog that looks like Patton Oswalt.
Well, I think Jack, you're going to have an easier time finding that than Alil is of getting an actual clone of him.
Or getting a pet.
Oh no.
There's
I
kind of
don't
a strict, you can't just adopt a dog. I mean, there's kind of a strict, procedure.
Oh, you're saying Alil's not good enough to adopt
I'm not saying
a dog?
good enough, but you have to have certain qualities. Just
I
different.
could raise 3 children,
Okay.
but not a dog.
Yeah, that's different.
Okay.
True.
That's fine.
Okay.
No, I'm just teasing.
This has been a brutal show. I don't know what's up tonight.
I think there's a full moon out.
I'm telling you, we're all a little punchy. I mean, if we're all in the same room, I think we'd be just on the verge of punching each other.
Like, what are you saying? I can't.
But then we're all comic book geeks, so we'd go to punch each other and be like, "Yeah,
It'd
don't
be a
hit me back."
slap fight. We'd be like, slap fight.
See,
Yeah.
like tomorrow, Alil's going to adopt a dog, and I'm going to get an email like, in your face, I got a dog.
I don't think so, man. I'm allergic.
Oh,
I'm a
well,
geek.
And then 3
We'll
weeks
see.
later, you'll get an email that says, "Damn it, why did I buy
see,
a
I
dog?"
told you it's not because Alil's worse. He's allergic.
True.
Yeah,
That's what it is. So here's.
But he's like Marty McFly. You just called him chicken, and he's gonna ruin his life to
That's
prove
right.
you wrong.
I will go with the sniffles every day because I'm going to get that dog. So after the war, Dum Dum becomes second in command at S.H.I.E.L.D. And after World War II.
Yeah.
So how are they going to reconcile this with Peggy? Any ideas?
What do you mean?
If
She's in on all this. She's director. She's going to be director of S.H.I.E.L.D. She's going to know. She's going to be in on it.
so, he's going to be her second in command.
He could be. Why not?
Well, after the war, he becomes Fury's second in command of S.H.I.E.L.D. So are they going to bring in Dum Dum Dugan?
What we saw at the end of the short, if indeed that is part of this, Howard Stark and Dum Dum Dugan were sitting there by the pool. They called Peggy Carter. Howard Stark made her director of S.H.I.E.L.D. I bet at that point, Dum Dum Dugan is second in command, to
which
her.
ties right in with the wiki. That's a good point. Well done, sir.
And Dugan has a role in Civil War.
Wait, let's mark it. That's 3 times each one of us. So we did.
Is
the
your
hat trick.
superpower like Calendar Man?
Yes. Yes, it is.
You're killing me.
Rob's just wearing calendar.
All right,
taped to
Alil,
his
what were you going to
sweatshirt.
say?
No, and I said, and
That's right.
Dugan has a role in Civil War, and I think if they want to go with the life model decoy route with him, they have the opportunity to bring him into Civil War with that, because we would still have another Agent Carter miniseries next year, and maybe that's where they do the death and maybe bring in a young Nick Fury.
Yeah.
Yes, and do the life model decoy, and then just before Civil War, he shows up on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and is working with Coulson.
Wow. We keep talking about how they're going to skirt this stuff and not actually go there. They actually went, right with the Black Widow theme. They've brought in Dum Dum Dugan on this. I think we're really seeing more of a tie-in than we even thought there was going to be.
Yeah, I think you're right.
And
I think this is so well plotted out, and they're bringing characters where they can. I think the only thing that was not fitting the puzzle exactly right was the first half of the first season of S.H.I.E.L.D. I think once they got past that first half and they did everything with Cap 2, I think from that point on, it's been this amazing puzzle that they've been putting
Yeah,
together.
it took a while, like we talked about like a plane taking off. It took a while, but once they did, it's been pretty good.
Yeah, I'm so excited for Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. to come back too. I can't wait to see what
Yeah,
happens.
and how long? It's only what, a month and a half before Age of Ultron comes out. They're coming out. That comes out in April of this.
May.
Yeah.
Is it May now?
Oh, it's in May,
3rd
yeah.
or
May
whatever
3rd.
that first. I think it's the 3rd. Whatever their first May 1st.
So we're talking. So now
Yeah.
we're at the 2-month mark. Are we going to start seeing serious tie-ins?
Well, once S.H.I.E.L.D. comes back, I think that there are things that are happening here that'll probably play some kind of role, but I don't think it's serious tie-ins. I think we're going to get more serious in S.H.I.E.L.D., but I also think we're not going to get really serious until the episode before Ultron.
Right, because they don't want to play their hand out. I mean, we've got 3 more episodes of Agent Carter. That's going to take us to the first week of March when S.H.I.E.L.D. comes back, and then we'll have 8 episodes of S.H.I.E.L.D. before we get to Age of Ultron.
So that gives them a chance to develop a real serious storyline coming up into the movie.
Yes.
Right.
So do you think they're going to set up some history that takes us to S.H.I.E.L.D., or do you think the only thing, like, they'll use Dum Dum as a kind of a bridge between the two? Like, you've seen the Howling Commandos, you've seen the interaction, and you see Dum Dum Dugan, you go, oh, there he is from, there he is. He's the LMD, and that's
Right.
the pivot from the two shows.
I think they're going to have to do a little bit more than just say there's the LMD. I know, Tony said it in the first Avengers movie, but I think they're going to have to show us something about life model decoys before they throw Dugan in.
Yeah, I do too. I don't think he's going to show up in Ultron. I think they're going to take their time with that. I think we're going to learn more about life model decoys on S.H.I.E.L.D. I think that's where they're going to do it.
I think Dum Dum's going to appear in S.H.I.E.L.D.
Well, yeah, like I said, I think that makes sense.
I agree.
We're in agreement. Wow. All right.
I know.
So,
magical things are happening.
This is being brought to you from Tahiti, a magical place. So I don't know what I was going to say. I had a whole thing I was about to lay out there. It was so profound. I'm going to take credit for it. I do think that they are going to take their time with this. I know what I was going to say. I was stalling there. I think that we are not going to see Peggy made head of S.H.I.E.L.D. at the end of this season. I think that's going to happen at the end of the second season, or maybe even the third. No, I think it would make more sense to have it happen next season. I think we're going to see this play out. Next season's going to come back. It's going to be another story similar to this, but maybe Howard Stark is out of the picture for her, or maybe whatever's going to happen there at that organization it's all going to fall apart next season, and it's going to either end or in the middle become her being head of S.H.I.E.L.D., and then we're going to start seeing that play out. That's the point where, like you said, young Nick Fury maybe comes into the picture. We find out about this life model decoy stuff. They can start laying all that stuff in. And that's just before we get into Captain America 2. So by the time that starts up, by the time Civil War starts up, and we know that's going to have a lot of political and S.H.I.E.L.D. type stuff going on in it, I think that it makes sense that we would get all this fleshed out, and then it makes sense to have Dum Dum Dugan appear. And I think they're going to. I'd be interested to know what his contract is. You know how they've got everyone locked up in all these TV or these movie things. I wonder if his contract at this point is tying him, like he has X amount of TV, X amount of movies he does.
Right.
He might have one of the sweetest deals in the thing. Better than Robert Downey Jr.'s. I doubt it.
I don't. They would have to do something better with the role. I mean, they could really do something with the Howling Commandos, but if you take him back into the future, then what do you do with that?
Marty,
I don't know.
You know what? I was actually when they were showing the Howling Commandos all sitting around that fire and having their little, kumbaya session. I actually was back to feeling like I want to see a Howling Commandos miniseries. Let Netflix pick something like that up.
Right.
I think that'd be awesome. Huh. I would like to see that play out. But I don't need it to be an ongoing series. I want it to be one singular storyline. Because this little bit, I loved him in that first Captain movie. I loved them here. I was like, wow, I want to see more about these guys. They're really interesting. And yeah, they killed off some of them here, but they didn't kill off the guys you saw in Captain America.
Right. Well, here's some of the stats from Zap to It is the ratings for Agent Carter are pretty flat, which surprises
Really?
me. Yeah, of course, I think, having a break where there should have been a third episode might have hurt them, but who knows if there'll be another season.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? I don't think it so much has to do with the ratings at this point. I mean, Disney owns ABC. ABC is the one doing this show. They make a lot. I think if they make a lot off of DVD sales or probably even iTunes sales, if it does well internationally, I think it's all part of their Marvel mix. I think it's worth it. And this show can't cost them a heck of a lot at this point. Once they have the sets in place and they have the costumes, they're not doing a lot of special effects. There's not a lot going on. This is probably a fairly inexpensive show for them to produce at this point.
Probably so.
So why not keep it on?
Yeah, and you have the whole women's power kind of thing, which may be something that they're trying to promote.
Right.
I don't know if. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Well, and it also fills in a gap, for the two halves of Shield, which is something I'm sure they're looking at, and it may not be pulling the ratings, but it's getting really great critical reviews. So It might be worth the risk. As far as all those things, I would look at it and say, you know what, this is a show we want to keep working with.
Yeah, I have a feeling this is one of those things where I think, in essence, what you're saying is that this is a show the network wants to do, rather than something they think will sell. They'll get real big numbers. I think it's more like a pet project that people up there want done, and they like the message.
Yeah, I would be interested to see what's beating it, because I know, like Gallivant, we just watched that. I actually thought it was really good, but it did flat numbers.
Well, Supernatural, Chicago Fire are up. The Flash and Marvel's Agent Carter's flat. Person of Interest and Forever have hit lows.
So there you go.
Yeah, that's kind of the that's the scoreboard for those slots.
Huh. Yeah, so, and I think the Flash had that same problem. They took that break, and then it's been a little bit rough getting back into it. Maybe that's really what we're seeing is TV changing, where we saw how they were taking these big breaks, and now all of a sudden, like ABC has figured out, hey, we fill it in this gap this way. But maybe the 24 season show is coming to an end.
Yeah, that could be. They're doing shorter seasons. They're taking long winter breaks, and rather than, because you have the momentum if you have it on a big show that people will come back. You put these little filler shows in. Maybe they come back, maybe they don't. It'd be interesting. It's just interesting to see what they do with it. And yeah, I think it's TV like we're not used to.
Yeah. Yeah. Will's been very silent through this whole thing. I think he's flipping through Hulu.
Watching Agent Carter again.
If the girl did shoot the Howling Commander.
Yeah, right.
I'm telling you.
Wait a minute, Rob's right.
That's a positive of having Hulu, because I pulled it up on my phone. Boom.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I got to see next week's preview.
That is true. That's disappointing. No, but I agree with you on TV.
There's this thing, it's called the internet. You can always go on there and see the preview.
I will, but I just finished watching the episode, so I didn't have time.
Yeah, Mr. Smarty Pants.
I to Jack's point, Jack was saying that you don't get it. I'm saying you've got an option. So it was more of a slam at Jack. Oh, there's going to be a fight here tonight. I can tell.
But no, you're right. I think TV is going to be better for that, with the shorter 10 episode arcs. I mean, you'll still have your comedies and everything that'll go long, but for 1 hour dramas, like this, all these are kind of dramas. I think small spurts, because then you can get all around the year. You can get a 10 episode clip, and The Walking Dead is proof that you can pull this off.
Right.
Good point.
Yep.
Well, that's
we went silent again.
Every time we
amazing.
agree, every time we agree, it just stops to a screeching halt or something. It's like, wow.
Maybe that's the problem. Maybe we're not used to agreeing with each other so much.
Yeah, I think it's throwing off our timing.
It's very strange.
So what else is there? What else do we have?
I think that's it. I mean, I don't know if we talked the whole episode out or not. We went down so many tangents and it was so weird. I say, let's wrap it up unless you guys have something more you want to talk about.
No, I think that's it.
All right. Let's end it. Thanks for listening, everybody. You can find past episodes of this, which are probably a lot more entertaining than this one, at our website, which is www.southgatemediagroup.com. When we can, we try to live tweet these shows from Nuff Said Pod or at Nuff Said Pod. I also tweet from at our Southgate. Alil, where do you tweet from?
I tweet from at LOGEEKZ, and that's for the League of Geeks podcast. So check us out, League of Geeks, Geeks with a Z.
And you also have a website, leagueofgeekswithaz.com, and and a great podcast. It's definitely worth checking out. And then Jack?
I'm at Jay Wengroski, and also I'm involved with the Blacklist podcast, which just started up again. And so you could catch us at Blacklist Pod. And we also have an Instagram, which my co-host Melissa has been rocking that thing pretty hard. And I think that's Blacklist Pod also. So go check that out. And I think that's it on our end.
All right. Well, then that's it. We're putting a fork in this one. One last thing. I'm not putting a fork in it yet. I just put a toothpick. We're just checking to see if it's done. As a little cooking reference for you. Send us emails at our website. You can go to our website and do that, or you can just go to southgatemediagroup@gmail.com. And the last thing, if you can, come see us Friday night in Madison at the Madison Wizard World. The panel is called Geek My Kids. And if you can't make that, but you are in Madison, come to Michelangelo's Coffee House and come see us do the live podcast there. It's a lot of fun. And Saturday night, I don't know if Alil's going to make it, but we do Live at the Blue Box in Elgin, Illinois. And we've got some really fun stuff set up for this week there as well. And that's it. Thank you, guys. I'm not even going to bother with our names again because I can't remember what we were. Let's just end this thing. That's it. Enough said.
Enough said.